Hi, and welcome to my channel, Stingray Steve in Southwest Florida. And today I'm going to go over my Madagascar palms. I took some notes here, which is a Pachypodium Lamerei. And it's from the Apocynacear family. And on this plant, the trunk, here they are, is the main supply of energy for the plant. They're from Madagascar, and most of the photosynthesis occurs right here in the stump, and you can see it's like green. So when they become dormant in winter, sometimes they lose all their leaves, but they're still photosynthesizing because most of the energy comes from the stump. And the tree has large thorns, and the leaves are mostly at the top of the plant, okay? And they can grow to 24 feet in the wild and 4 to 6 feet in your home. The seeds would take about 3 to 6 months to germinate. But I just propagated all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I got from this one plant, and this is the one I bought. And the leaves are a little bit lighter on it, and this one I ordered from Florida. And I also transplanted it, and it's doing well. You can see sometimes the leaves fall off, they turn yellow, but I got all new growth on all of them. See, there's new growth on all of them. And when the leaves fall off, it's nothing to worry about. And they all have new growth. Okay, and you can propagate them from stem cuttings, but I tried putting a branch in the soil, and it rotted. So I'm going to go over the way I was able to propagate all of these plants from this one. And let's see, one more thing I wanted to say. There's a high risk when you prune these plants that they're gonna rot. So be careful, especially when you do it at the top. There's a risk the plant might die. And you have to avoid over pruning these plants. They need very little water, and like I said, they become dormant. They have large fragrant flowers. Okay, now after I bought this one, which was only about that high when I bought it, it was like in a 2-inch pot. And it's growing nicely. Look, you can see how tiny it was, and then now it's getting fat on the top. Okay, so that's the one I ordered from California. It was reasonable, but it was tiny. Okay, so that's another story, that one. Now this one here, I happened to go to Ace Hardware, and they had about 6 of them they got in on the table. And one was real tall, another one was a little shorter, but was 2. And then there was this one, which was a cluster. It was a cluster. So I said, wow, I'm gonna try to propagate this plant. And I really didn't want to make a video until I was sure it worked out. And you could see right here, I'm getting another plant. See? So it was so successful and it's so healthy. Look, I'm getting another plant down here. And now when I bought this one, there was 5 plants surrounding it, and they all were bigger than that. They were about that big. So what I did was I brought it home, and you can see I paid $50 for it. But I figured $50, I'm going to get like 6 plants if it works out. And And I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another one, 7. Okay, so what I did was I added more topsoil on the bottom, and I waited about a month or two until this one got pretty healthy. So when I went to the side of the topsoil, I could see that every one of the sprouts on the bottom started to root. So then I took this mother plant out and I removed all the soil and I cut them off. You can see where I made a cut here on the side. You see the cut? And can you get in there, Steve?
Sure.
Can you see the cut? And it healed nicely. Look, it's like a... See how it looks like when you cut a tree branch. That's where I made a cut as close to the mother as possible, and I made sure that every one of these cuttings had some root. So before I remove this one, I'm going to make sure it's really big. I'm going to add more topsoil like that. So, and then it's going to start rooting out that way, and then when I make the cut, it's going to have some root. Okay, so that's what I did. Then I put each one in a pot, and I watered it, and they got a lot of sun. So and I used a quick drying soil moisture. I bought the Miracle Grow in the blue bag, which dries out pretty quickly. And at first it was okay, and then about a week later I started getting some yellow leaves, so I didn't worry. I left a few on here on the bottom. You see there's a couple of yellow leaves, and they come right off. There's one over here, see? And I just removed them because most of the photosynthesis, like I said, comes out of the bark. And every one of them now has new growth. All of this center is new growth on this one. And the leaves now, you can see the leaves are nice and healthy. This has new growth right here in the center. And this one's doing great. Look at the new growth in the center. They're like, all of this is new growth. This one's is almost big as the mother plant, and that's all new growth. And I'm gonna have to, this one's growing with a bend, so what I'm gonna have to do is either make it the sun so it faces that way, so, but I could always repot it and tilt it a little. And this was the tiny one. I was a little bit worried about this one. You see the leaves, they fell off. But now I have all of this on the top is new growth, and you can see how green it is? That's all the new growth now. So I went from 2 plants to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And to my amazement, I got another pup right there. So I'm gonna have 8. So my friend gave me a branch that fell off his tree. He has one in his yard. Maybe I'll do a video on it. And the tree is like over 20 feet high, and it has a stump like this. And it rained one day, and he said a branch fell down. So I got the branch home and I cut it in 2. And both branches, I just stuck them in the ground. He goes, just stick them in the ground, and I did. And they both rotted completely. I never got any growth, and I was very unsuccessful with that. So I was very skeptical before I made a video. I wanted to make sure that this worked. So when you go to the store and you see these for sale, look for one like mine that had a whole bunch of little pups on the bottom, and don't just propagate it right away. I waited, I added more dirt, I waited and waited until every little pup was healthy and had a little bit of root of its own, and that's when I cut them. So even they were all able to absorb some water because they all had a root. And I don't think if I would have submerged these in water and did a water prop, I think it would have rotted. So because this was just in a moist soil, but very light, see, and it was in a moist soil, and the root didn't have a chance to rot. They had a lot of sun, and this is the first time I ever was able to propagate this plant, and I'm happy about it. So if you like this video, guys, I'm gonna do an unboxing. I got 2 new plants. They're out for delivery. So later on, we're gonna have another video, and I don't know which is gonna be which, so it's gonna be a surprise unboxing. Bye, guys.